Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to a holiday catalog card swap that I am working on. I wanted to show you guys how I do my swap cards. This is actually a swap that the Alaska Achievers decided to do. We wanted a quick turnaround to be able to showcase some of the holiday catalog products with our customers. So I decided to use the Merry Christmas to All stamp set because this is a bundle that I received while I was on the cruise in Alaska. And I'm also using the Merry Christmas Thinlits dies. These dies are really neat because there's 4 different sentiments that they cut out, and then we get the 2 little frame pieces. And I also use the let me see, what is this paper called? I still am new to some of the titles. Festive Farmhouse designer paper. Now when I lift this up, you're going to see little piles for my swaps, but I wanted to show you the paper first. This is the first side, and then this is the second side. The paper can be used for Christmas cards and for other non-Christmas projects also. Now, this is what I do when I get ready to create a swap. So I had to make 21 cards. I've done all of the layers that I need, and I'll show you the card in a minute. So I've got the card base, which is Mossy Meadow cardstock. I've got the new embossing folder. I believe it's called Swirls and Curls, something like that. I should have looked that up before I started the video. And you could actually use either side because it creates bumps on the embossed side and debossed side. This is, if I can get one of these apart, the little Mary from the die cut. Let me put it down so you can see it. Isn't it pretty? I love how all of these die cuts have all the swirls on each end. I've got a Mossy Meadow layer, a Whisper White layer that I stamp on. I've got this little ribbon that I tied into a bow. And then this is the piece of designer paper that I'm using on each card, and I've wrapped a ribbon around it. Now, the funny thing is, if you watched my other Alaska videos that I showed you, this is ribbon that was wrapped around all of our pillow gifts, and I used every single piece, and this is all I have left. So I've repurposed all of the ribbon. Now, let me show you, let me move these aside a little bit, and then I'll show you what the card looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and assemble one so you can see how I did my layers. I'm just trying to keep everything handy so I can grab it as I need. So this is the swap card, and everything is glued flat except for the white stamped layer. I used stamping dimensionals, and I also used one of the red rhinestone jewels, just one jewel. So this is the card we're going to be assembling together. So I'm going to bring in the Mossy Meadow card base, and then one of the embossed layers. So I'm going to use the embossed side, not the debossed side. Something I want to try with this embossing folder, I want to try to ink it. I think by inking all of these bumps, that would make such a pretty background. It would look almost like designer paper. So maybe I'll be doing that on one of my projects. Now I'm adding the designer paper layer. I am going to add a little bit of glue over the ribbon just to make sure that the ribbon doesn't come apart on me. And that's going to go right on the edge and centered. So I left about 1/4 of an inch there. Next is, oh, and I forgot to tell you how I did my 2 layers. Once I cut them square, and I also did that on the designer paper, I used the circle punch, the 1/2-inch circle punch, to cut out some of the corners. So it makes a little decorative edge. So let me glue this Mossy Meadow layer in place. So I'm going to be receiving 21 swap cards, so tune in soon. I think the due date was the 15th, so they should be coming to me soon. Now I'm going to glue the Mary, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue by adding dots. I'm all set up for a class in my garage, so I don't have my fine tip glue pen close by. So I'm just using the liquid glue. And when I glued this in place, I kind of glued it at an angle. Now let me just bring my catalog in so I can press down. Whoops. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the stamp. Now what's great about this stamp set, you can mix and match any of the sentiments. So I decided to do the Merry and Bright. I'm going to bring in Mossy Meadow ink and stamp that right there. And then we have little holly leaves that go in 2 different directions. So this one's going to go on top, and this one on the bottom. See how just adding the little holly leaves really makes the Mary stand out and just dresses up my panel. And then I'm going to bring in the red rhinestones and add just one right there. I didn't want to overwhelm the bling, so that's why I just added one. Next, stamping dimensionals. And then all I have left to do is to glue the ribbon. So you can see how having everything done up production style really helps out. All I have to do now is just grab one thing at a time, glue it in place, and my cards are quickly going to get done. Okay, now I'm bringing one of these little bows in with my glue dot. So it does take time to get everything ready, but once it's ready, you just go production style and get everything done. So that's my swap card. This is again for the Alaska Achievers. So I assume I'll have a video to show you all of the cards that everybody's created, and I'm anxious to see because we're using all of the supplies that we received on the cruise, which was if you were lucky, you got 4 different stamp sets. So we're going to have a lot of samples for you to draw inspiration on using 4 or 5 stamp sets. I hope you enjoyed my swap card for today. And if you need a holiday catalog, if you're not working with a demonstrator, give me a shout out and I'll get one in the mail to you. Have a good day, everyone.